What's up guys, and welcome back to another Wynand Crypto video. The shackles of regulation are about to be removed and XRP is going to absolutely blast off. Now I have to share with you something that stunned me. Even Ran, yes, that Ran who's been an XRP skeptic for years, had a guest on his show who's actually bullish on XRP now. You should have seen the look on Ran's face when his guest confessed it. Let me play this for you.
What else?
And I do think, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm admitting this, I think Ripple is actually a good trade. I know. Now listen, you ask me as a trader or an investor, where do I think there's upside? Part of the reason is, remember, I run a fund. Ripple is one of the most liquid assets out there.
I can't believe what I've just heard, but you heard it from the man himself. Joe, it's so good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too.
You know, I keep saying here, people like you. And you know why people like you? Because you're always bullish, bro.
Thank you.
Can you believe it? Despite all these years of XRP bashing, even the most skeptical of us can now see what we've always known. The tide is turning, XRP family. I used to always listen to Rand's show until I just couldn't take all the XRP bashing anymore. So to see him have someone on his show that completely gets the trade value when Rand just can't, it's simply priceless. What you need to realize is that this has absolutely nothing to do with a short-term price surge. This is about fundamental market changes. We've got Monica Long going public, and I'm quoting, "The floodgates are gonna open this year," and she's absolutely right. Over the past few weeks, by ourselves, we saw SAB 121 rolled back, and in what felt like minutes, CEOs and Banks of America were repeating, "We're all in." This is just the beginning of something massive.
It feels like the floodgates are going to open this year, doesn't it? I mean, so within the past week, a couple weeks, so SAB 121 being called back or rolled back. And I mean, within, it felt like minutes, you hear from CEOs like Bank of America saying, "We're all in."
The SEC has just finally signed on the dotted line to settle their civil enforcement action against Ripple and its top management. That's what we've all been waiting for. XRP is now unencumbered, unrestricted, and free to move. Nothing can stop it now. If you've been sitting on your XRP during this storm, destroy that like button, because we're about to jump into what this will do for your investment and why the floodgates are finally going to open. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a day that was proclaimed would never come. Years of war, years of FUD, years of being told we were crazy to believe an XRP existed. Now we have proof. The SEC are backing down from their case against Ripple. Bitcoin has just gone above $104,500. This is what a bull market looks like, my friends. And listen to this, can you even begin to imagine what Davos in January was like? BlackRock and Goldman Sachs were very clear on cryptocurrencies. These are not small fish. These are the biggest financial institutions in the world. What we're witnessing is an entire new movement. The previous administration had placed such a lid on this business, essentially telling everyone, if you build and play, you'd better be ready for a lawsuit. So people naturally shield away. They tell you it's not worth the headache. Now all of this is reversing. See, I've been telling you for years now about the XRP future as a bridge currency. Here is unadulterated evidence connecting XRP and ISO and SWIFT. Code does not lie, friends. RippleNet, XRP Oracle Service, XRP Payment, XRP Settlement, all connected by Corda. And that's only half of it. Persona just published. Central banks and governments and international financial institutions just proposed a multi-currency payment system for a multipolar world. At its center is a neutral bridge asset connecting value between systems. And what's that asset? That's what we've been talking about. A new world financial order is on the horizon as we move away from unipolar dollar domination and move into multi-currency regime. I told you it was coming, and it's only the start. For years, developers did not develop on the XRP ledger because they did not know if it would survive beyond the SEC case. But now, we've got a fresh smart contract functionality coming down the pipeline that will allow more DeFi applications and protocols to be created and launched. And all of this will require more XRP, more transactions, more volume, that is, more price. Let's talk about the future of XRP. Michael Saylor just revealed that Bitcoin is going to be a $200 trillion market cap. That's 100x more than we are currently, which would put Bitcoin at around 10 million per coin. And if Bitcoin gets to 10 million, where do you imagine the price of XRP is going to be? Much higher than where it is today.
So what do we see? We see an industry that's growing from 2 trillion to 200 trillion. You know, when Bitcoin is a $200 trillion asset, what is it? Okay, well, it's still going to be smaller than equity and real estate and bonds. It's just going to be noticeable. It's the emerging global monetary asset. It is digital gold. It is 10 times better than gold, maybe 100 times better than gold.
And did you see what is happening with Quant? Quant will provide the programmability layer for the future digital euro system. We've known about this for years. Quant has been working with the Bank of England, the ECB, and other European countries on CBDC technology. And guess what? You can have some level of interoperability here, where you have a Quant programmable layer, and you can then need a settlement asset to make cross-border settlements. Well, that can be XRP, that is Quant compatible. And do not forget what Raoul Pal has done. I will play you this clip.
Everything code is debasement of currency. There are only two assets that matter in the entire world. One is technology, and two is crypto. And crypto dwarfs everything else. It is the greatest performing asset in all recorded history. We've never had anything like this before. So here's Bitcoin since 2012, 130% annualized. That's including 3 gigantic drawdowns. Bitcoin since 2012, 130% annualized. That's including 3 gigantic drawdowns. Ethereum at 113 and Solana at 142. So, and Solana obviously starts later. So the magnitude of the returns is enormous. The volatility we have to stomach to do it is the game. And it's a matter of, I've told everybody about the don't fuck this up thesis of how to deal with volatility, how not to lose control of your tokens, because this stuff compounds over time. Bitcoin since 2012, 27.5 million % returns.
Did you hear that? 27.5 million % returns. I think we will be able to do that with a whole bunch of various tokens that we've been talking about the past couple of years. Now, I just want to briefly mention CBDCs. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent himself just called a central bank digital currency a sign of weakness. Seriously? When 90% of countries on Earth are testing the technology, I don't even think Scott Bessent has ever heard of CBDCs. When Trump was elected, I told you, you're not going to see a CBDC in the US over the next 4 years, wholesale or retail. Republicans don't like it. And with the Fed Now system rolling in now, the US does not have a need for a CBDC at this time, but we'll get there eventually. Have some patience, you guys. Now let me replay this video by Draper, who is a Bitcoin maxi and someone I kind of really like and admire, discussing Bitcoin supplanting the US dollar.
Will eventually happen to US dollar dominance?
Yeah, I eventually think that we will no longer have US dollar dominance over the long period, but that's over a long period of time.
A ballpark estimate of how, when Bitcoin will replace the US dollar?
10 years, something like that. It may be a little less because there will be a moment. I mean, the good news here is that banks can now hold your Bitcoin and your fiat currency. And so if you desperately, you're in you see it on social media, hey, we got to get rid of our dollars, we got to buy Bitcoin. You can do it pretty quickly online, but you don't want to be, in line at the banks trying to get your dollars out to put them into Bitcoin when there is a transformation.
I don't necessarily see on the same timeline, but here I think all of that can be possible. And if Bitcoin can replace the US dollar, imagine the potential of XRP when we talk about cross-border payments. Now let us talk about Bitwise investment report on XRP. It was clear, direct, and accurate explanation of what drives the value of XRP: transaction fees, spam resistance, bridge currency, and large-scale ecosystem liquidity reserve. Transaction fees for XRP are typically on the order of 0.0001 XRP, which is almost nothing compared to other cryptos. This tokenomics design ensures XRP will be efficient and low cost for its intended purpose: cheap, fast cross-border payments. And when it comes to transactions, the value locked on the platform of Flare networks has experienced massive growth, and it indicates that increasingly more are getting the potential of the XRP universe. If you're an XRP holder, these are some critical observations with the SEC resolution. We're in a different world. Institutions that are cautious earlier are now free to deal with XRP. That would usher in a wave of liquidity and price appreciation. Don't get caught up in the short-term price movements. Remember, we're playing for the long game. XRP's value proposition as a bridge currency in a multi-currency world is stronger than ever before. The multipolar financial system is coming, and XRP will benefit from this shift. And don't forget, the entire ecosystem as well. Initiatives like Flare are so important in creating demand for XRP. The more use cases, the greater the value. It's as simple as that. And finally, be careful when the market goes hot. We'll be witnessing increasing number of scams and imposters, projects climbing aboard the XRP gravy train. Always do your own due diligence before investing in anything. So what is next for XRP? Now that the SEC matter is put behind us, Ripple can shift its focus to growing its partnerships and use cases. I envision more banks and financial institutions coming on board RippleNet for cross-border payments. The XRP ledger will further develop with upgrades and improvements, making it more attractive to developers. The DeFi platform XRP will continue to grow, driving more and more demand for the token. And with tensions increasing across the globe and the need for a multi-currency settlement mechanism increasingly clear, the function of XRP as a bridge currency will be ever more crucial. That is it for me today, XRP family. What a great time to be in crypto and to be in XRP. The floodgates have opened, institutions are flooding in, and XRP can finally reach its true potential. If you want to long or short XRP, go to Wynand Crypto, and on this video, you're going to find a link to sign up to BTCC to be able to trade Bitcoin and XRP and other cryptocurrencies. And you guys, with BTCC and only my BTCC link, you can get a limited time $10,000 bonus on your first deposit. This is where I open all of my long positions and all of my trades. I think it's a fantastic place to be trading, so make sure to use my link down in the description below if you want to sign up and start trading XRP. I would be really thankful if you guys support my small channel with just moving your funds from your old trading platform to BTCC and then just racking in that huge bonus. It helps you and me. And if you own XRP, do your part, show your support. I love you all, and I will see you very soon. Until the next time, Wynand Crypto out.